we're Roasted. I'm Grandfather Nebulous. I do vocals, but the real mastermind behind all this music is
Cat. That was true. That's good.
Right, the story behind the name. I think back in the day we were hanging out in the horse box, drinking beers and just trying to think of names that were heavy and made us sort of chuckle. I think that's pretty much it, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, creative process behind Roasted. First the guitars.
Yeah. Recording the guitars, usually bass straight after the guitars while all the rest are fresh in mind. I can add some little bits here and there to change the bass up for the guitar, knowing where all the guitars are, and then drums are afterthought really for me. I'm not really a drummer.
But it's got to be heavy.
It's got to be done.
Right, the theme is the same as always for Roasted. We're talking about cooking humans. We're thinking about what the difference would be of taking all that scrumptious meat that is animals and turning them into humans. Whether we eat meat or not is up to you. But we just talk about eating other people.
Album artwork. In this one we wanted to put a bit of a Cornish angle on it.
Yep, which is why we have a Reaper eating a pasty of souls on the cover. Also, the artwork was done by a childhood friend of mine who's not particularly into death metal, so I thought it would be interesting, because I've always liked his artwork, to have his perspective on it. That's why we chose that particular artwork for Force Fed to Death. In our opinion, record labels are not as crucial as they once were. There's a couple of good ones, Everlasting Spew Records and Transcending Obscurity Records, which put out quality stuff. But generally, unless you want to be like Headlining Wacken, I don't think labels are as important as they once were. And I think channels, like this very fine one we've been featured on, are helping to cut out the middleman. And that's better for the musicians and the fans.
True.
Well, I can tell you the first time I ever heard death metal, because my grandmother bought me Ace Ventura: Pet Detective on video, and I watched it and I just couldn't understand even what it was. Fast forward a few more years in school, Soulfly were my sort of gateway band to heavy music, and then when I left school I became friends with a chap who lent me The Bleeding on CD. I still remember it was the original press because it had all the squishy logo, and I burnt it onto my computer and I pretty much became obsessed with that album, listening to it back to back. I think you were a bit earlier than me, weren't you?
It must have been about mid-90s when I started getting into proper heavy stuff, you know. Before that you'd hear a heavy guitar and it would say, oh, you know, what's this? Let's find more albums like this. You know, you find like a couple grunge albums, and then you hear a Metallica record and you think, oh, what the fuck is this grunge? This shit. Let's hear some heavy shit. And then I go around the record store looking for the cool album pictures and trying them out, listening to stuff, and it was I heard cool shit like Utopia Banished, Napalm Death, and I saw the picture disc of The Incomplete by Obituary, and after that was they raised the bar. Yeah.
If I could change one thing about the music industry, it would be the deceit when it comes to profit margins. So again, it would be taking the middleman out and letting the musicians connect with the fans with as little friction as possible. Of course, you still need a shop front where everyone can see what's on offer, but if there's any computer boffins out there, make a new Spotify app or get AI to do it, where it can literally just get the music and get the fans and put them together with as little sort of sneaky taking of money as possible. Right, music and movies. Music would be the band Neurectomy, which I've just discovered. There's only 2 tracks out that I've heard so far. Holy fuck, they've blown my tiny brain. Bit of research, John Longstreth on drums, so you got the Origin energy going on with the drumming and just insane technical prowess and like aggression as well, which is what a lot of modern tech death I find is lacking nowadays. As for movies, I don't really have time to watch most movies. I might watch YouTube now and again, and if I'm going to watch anything for a long time, it's probably just going to be rewatching The Sopranos again. So, music and movies.
Yeah. Recent film I found good was The Platform. It's a horror film. It's fairly original. Involves a lot of cooking as well. Sits right in the theme of roast dead. And band that's impressed me recently, Serotonin Leakage album is called Masculine Power, the first one. They changed their sound afterwards. I'm not such a fan of it afterwards, but that album in particular is a real trip of a euphoric soundscape with brutal gore grind elements. It's awesome.
Right, where do we think death metal's going to go? Well, obviously it's going to evolve and expand, as every sort of musical genre does, and it's going to go into like cross paths with a lot of other genres as well. But I think the core of it, the foundations of it, what those guys did in the late 80s to sort of mid 90s, that's to me that's what death metal really is. What do you think?
I think the future's safe for death metal. People are still pushing the boundaries, and we're still pushing the boundaries in terms of just heaviness and low tunings and stuff. So yeah, it's a good place.
Yep, keep it heavy.
Cornish scene.
Yes, the death metal scene in Cornwall is a cunt hair away from being completely non-existent.
Pretty thick down in Cornwall.
Yeah, so yeah, no, I'd want to give a good shout out to our buds in Human Mycosis, who are fucking legends.
Bolt Action.
Yeah, and Bolt Action's a sort of grind thrash project I'm involved with. And but yeah, Human Mycosis, awesome on record, and also if you get to see them live, do it, because they're fucking kick-ass. So that's it, Human Mycosis and Roast Dead. No gigs, no shows, just us stubborn pricks still making the music that we fucking love. That's it.
Best death metal album of all time is pretty much an impossible question, because anyone that's listened to death metal for a few years is going to have a load of different choices. But a few examples, like In the Darkened Shrines by Nile, Incomplete by Obituary, Created to Kill by Cannibal Corpse, Chris Barnes, basically vile Chris Barnes, amazing. So many, Mortician, you know, Zombie Apocalypse, Reanimated Dead Flesh.
Yeah, man. For myself, I've got to say, Dare Side, I fucking love the energy on that record, especially Glenn's vocals on that record. I fucking love that record. I'm going to say Human Remains for the more like weirder, grindy side of death metal. I fucking love the song structures on that album. You know, he's got a sort of tardy voice. It's Human Remains, Using Sickness as a Hero. Also, I gotta say, just because it had such a fucking impact on me in my youth, it's The Bleeding by Cannibal Corpse. Gotta be #1 for me. The songs are so fucking good. Everything about that album, for me personally, is so fucking good. That's it. Future plans for Roast Dead. Well, I'm not sure when this video is coming out, but on the 27th of the 11th, 2023, we've got our new EP, Fine Dying, coming out. We're also working on a full length, the next full length. And after that, I guess it's rinse and repeat. We just want to keep going. We both love fucking doing this music, and we're not going to stop until we're fucking dead, basically.
Yep.
That's it. Right, final message to the viewers or listeners of Death Metal Promotion. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep checking out death metal bands, because it really does fucking help the underground having channels like this online. Anything to add?
Thanks for checking out our album too.
Yeah, man. And thanks for checking out this channel. The guys behind it are fucking legends. We appreciate everything. Cheers. Stay fucking heavy.